Hi everyone, Paul here from Switched On, and here is my look at some of this week's eShop releases that have caught my eye. So, a quick look at 3 games before I get to the main event, and the first of which is Claybook from Second Order Games, and this one's £13.49 or $14.99 in America. Now this one seems to be a physics-based adventure puzzle game, using clay to work through puzzles. It also features the sandbox mode and, quite oddly, leaderboards. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. To be honest, it looks a bit of a blurry mess to me from the screenshots and the little video, but it could be one to keep an eye out for when the reviews start hitting. Unfortunately, I'm not reviewing this one, but I'll be keeping an eye out. Next up is Baba Is You, and this is from Hempuli Games, and is out on Wednesday the 13th of March, and this is £11.29 and $15 in the United States. Now this looks like another interesting puzzle game, and it's got a pretty unique ZX Spectrum aesthetic. And it sees you use your elephant Baba to manipulate words to make short sentences, which in turn affect the world around you. Certainly looks unique, but I wonder how much gameplay is here for that price point. Another one to perhaps stick on your watch list for future investigation. Finally, for the quick looks, Dusty Raging Fist. Well, sounds amazing. This one is £8.09 or $9.99 and is out on Thursday the 14th. And this is from PS Design Studio. Now this one caught my eye due to how colourful the game looks, but the premise sounds quite odd, as it's a 3-player beat 'em up with 1 player fighting and 2 others apparently offering support. Again, not quite sure how that works, but it sounds quite unique. I think all 3 fighting at once could have been a fun callback to the classic IK Plus on the Amiga, but then what do I know? Enough of the quick looks, let's have a look at the 5 main games I've picked out this week. And the first game that's piqued my interest is the latest Kemco release, Bonds of the Skies, which in no way at all is trying to ape the Trails of the Sky series with that logo. Not at all. Promise. Okay, Kemco are synonymous with JRPG games on mobile devices, and this one released about 5 years ago and is now being ported to the NintendoSwitch. And the story sees humans and gods working together to defeat a demon who has threatened their world. Now the battle system in this one is turn-based and has something called a synchro gauge, which allows you to unleash more powerful attacks once a meter has been built up, just like lots of JRPGs feature. I've played a few of their games and they aren't the most engaging or deep, kind of a JRPG by the numbers without anything really unique. But if you want a more casual and budget JRPG, then this may be worth picking up before release on Thursday the 14th, and that would be to take advantage of a 10% discount, making the price right at this moment £10.52 or $11.69. Now switching gears, pun intended, as game 2 is Motorsport Manager from Curve Digital, and this one is out on Thursday the 14th as well, and this is $11.99 or $14.99. Now this series started as a fairly light casual, albeit quite polished mobile game, all made by a single developer amazingly. Now for the sequel, the game was picked up by Curve Digital, who helped expand the scope of the second game, and more recently a third entry was released which pushed the series further into a more technical sim category. And whilst there is now a PC version which offers some slightly deeper simulation mechanics, the mobile version has kept a more refined approach. Now the console exclusive Switch version, which by the way is another great get for the Switch, looks a hybrid of both the PC and mobile versions, offering slightly more depth than the mobile game but not quite as full a technical simulation as on the PC. I've played this series a ton on iOS, and if you like management games or motorsport, then without sounding like Mr. Obvious, you should love this. The interface is well thought out and there are enough hands-on activities during qualifying and races to keep things interesting. The Switch version features an exclusive New Zealand track, and unlike the mobile version, actually uses the 3D cars on the track from the PC version, instead of the round blobs found on the phone and iPads, which should make things more immersive. Also included in the price is the in-game editor to allow you to make the fictional teams and characters into this year's F1 lineup, which is also really appealing. This is an optional DLC on mobile, so it helps soften the blow of the slightly higher overall price on the Switch. Now, I can highly recommend this one and can't wait to get cracking with it. I smell a YouTube series of playthroughs coming up as well, just in time for the real Formula 1 season, which kicks off this coming weekend. Now the third game I've picked out is Rico from the excellent Rising Star Games. Now this one's also out on Thursday the 14th and comes in at around about £15 and $19.99. Now this is a first person shooter which sees you and an optional buddy playing cops, going from room to room clearing out bad guys. Now I'm actually reviewing this one for the channel, and that will be live I think on Thursday, embargo pending, so I cannot say too much more before then. I have a couple of live streams up on my channel if you want to check those out, but I would just say this is one to definitely keep your eye on for next week for sure. Okay, next up is the Red Strings Club. It's from another excellent publisher, Devolver Digital. This cyberpunk styled story game also releases on Thursday the 14th, so it's going to be quite the day. And this one comes in at £13.49 and $14.99. Now I just love the art style on this one, and is a very eye-catching game, as I'm sure you would have seen if you've browsed the eShop recently. The gameplay sounds really unique as you play as a bartender who can mix mind-altering cocktails for your customers, which can then be used to extract information to help uncover the mystery at the root of this futuristic story. Now this reminds me of old point-and-click games from the Amiga and early PC days, and if you like those sort of games, I'm sure you already have this on your radar. Devolver Digital rarely release anything that isn't interesting, and their games for me are almost insta-buys, so I'll be checking this one out for sure. Now, a final game this week is the rather premium priced Caligula Effect Overdose, and this is from yet another superb publisher of Switch games, NIS America, and is priced at just under £45 or $49.99. Now, anyone familiar with the Persona series should be interested in this PlayStation Vita port, as it's by the same writer as the early Persona games and also shares some similar vibes. The Caligula Effect is set in a virtual reality program known as Mobius, created so people can escape the pain in their lives. The main protagonist is one of the group who realise that they are in this virtual world and form the Go Home Club, a group dedicated to escaping from Mobius and its godlike overseer program. Now, have you all got that? Perfect. Okay, this features dungeon crawling gameplay and a turn-based combat system, and a rather unique combo system as well, which I've watched some gameplay of the Vita version, and it's basically, as it's turn-based, you work through your team, each planning out an attack, and then you sort of trigger them all to happen at once, so you get some quite funky combinations. Looks quite good, quite different, and should be a fairly interesting combat system. Now, to be fair, this one has been reviewed over the last week or two on the Switch and hasn't exactly set Metacritic alike, but if you're desperate for some JRPG come Persona style gameplay, then perhaps this could be something you'd like. Now, it's also worth noting, while we're talking about NIS games, that they are holding what they are calling an NIS showcase, and that is on Monday, so either today or tomorrow, depends when you're watching this video. And this is going to be held at 9 AM Pacific time, which works out to around about 4 o'clock in the UK, in the afternoon that is. And they're going to be looking at some new games that they've got announced. So, as I said, NIS released some excellent Switch games, and this will be something I'll definitely be paying attention to, because who knows what's going to show up. A new Disgaea game perhaps, Trails in the Sky, or Trails of Cold Steel for the Switch. We can only dream. But if you're interested in NIS games, then maybe either tune in for that or at least check their Twitter account out sometime tomorrow for news on those upcoming games. But until then, I'd just like to say thanks for watching this video. Hope there were some games here that pique your interest for the week. Certainly some here that I'll be picking up. And as I said, if you tune back in on Thursday, I'll have a review of Rico and maybe even a cheeky little stream before then, just to show off a few more elements. So if you have any questions on Rico, anything you want me to show off, drop me a line on Twitter and I will have a look for you. But as I say, until then, I will catch you on the next video. Please subscribe to the channel if you like this content, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks guys, bye.